I'm the fuck out. I didn't even get started on what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Bro, that movie was crazy.
Crazy, Frankie. Yeah.
What are the specials tonight?
That sounds good. I'll have that.
Hey everybody, Specialists in Nothing, back at you again, talking about everything, specializing in nothing. My name is Frank. As always, Joe and Danny, you guys want to say what's up?
What up? What up?
How you doing?
All right.
Okay. I thought I had lead, Frank.
Excuse me, I just said
This
okay.
this is my moment.
I just said okay.
Okay. All right. Can I go?
Go.
Can I start our episode, please?
You can start. It started.
So today's a big episode for us. It's our big 50th episode.
Woo.
And we're heading on to the end of the year here. Yeah. Big 50. We got a little special episode today. I'm hosting. I'm starting it off. I'm doing the introductions. We're here today with Frank, Danny. I know you just heard this, but I'm doing it again because it's coming from my mouth now. So anyway, listen, we wanted to do something special. What up, what up?
Yeah, 50,
we wanted to do
man.
something special today. We always ask everybody to comment on any of our episodes, give us your 2 cents, ask us some questions, whatever you want. So a friend of Danny's, Jess, an avid listener every week, a lot of feedback all the time. Jess, we appreciate it. Danny, you want to give her a little shout out?
Absolutely.
Yeah, my girl Jess and Will in North Carolina. What's up? Thank you for listening. We love you.
Appreciate you.
So Jess reaches out to Daniel and she gives us a lot of questions, a lot of topic ideas.
A book.
And we thought we'd come up with we thought we would come up with a little episode, a little special 50th called You Ask, We Answer. So Jess here gave us a healthy amount of questions on a lot of different topics. And I'm just going to sit here, the three of us, we're going to read some of the questions, some of the topics out loud, and we're just going to give our opinions on it. And we're going to talk about them a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff here, a lot of good stuff, things we can get into, stuff that we kind of touched on that go along with what we usually do, and a lot of new things here that I'm curious to hear my co-host's opinions on.
There is one in particular that I am very excited for.
Yeah.
I'm reading some of these
what
now.
question it is. Hopefully I get to it.
Yeah.
All right, if there's
exactly.
questions that you guys specifically want to bring up that I don't touch on, please do. I'm just going to start from the top because Jess here is just
Shoot from the hip.
one of a kind here with these. All right, so I'm going to start off with something cool, something a little different that we haven't talked about yet. She wants to know, do ancient cultures like the Mayans, like, where did they get how, like, the world was going to end? Like, do we believe that? Do we think that the Mayans really had a prediction or a thumb on when the end of the world was going to happen?
Like, did
the
someone
Mayans-
tip
Is
them
that
off?
bullshit?
The Mayans were the ones that
Or-
that said the world was going to end in 2020, right? Or
2K,
was that the
right?
motorcycle gang? I forget.
2012, what was it? One of those things. The Mayans had a calendar where they predicted that the world was
Oh
gonna
yeah,
end.
2012. That's what it was. 2012.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 2012, right?
I
So
forget.
that's
but
when the Mayan
Did you
calendar
believe
ends.
in any of that when all that shit was going on? I didn't believe any of it, not for a
No.
second.
So
Yeah, no.
there's different meanings of like the world. You know?
what is
if
a
you think
Mayan
about
though? Because I'm not gonna lie, the only Mayans that I know besides that is the show. So
Bro,
what is a
Mayan?
it's
Mayan?
just an
What's the matter
ancient.
with you?
Dude, we're not talking about the
Ancient
motorcycle
civilization.
club. We're talking about the
Get the fuck outta
ancient
here.
culture, right? The ancient.
I'm just saying that's the
civilization.
only Mayan that I know.
They lived in the woods.
I'm
They were very to
sad.
themselves. That's it.
So-
man.
oh.
And they-
So wait, they were like kind of like a type of Indian then? It says
Aztecs, the Mayans, the
Yeah, they were.
yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so a large family of languages spoken in Central
we're
America and
talking back
Mexico,
in
which the chief
AD
members are
probably,
Maya.
Frank.
Okay, I got you. They're chiefs.
Yeah. So like those civilizations and cultures worshipped, I guess, like gods and stuff. They built pyramids, and I guess maybe like, yeah, did someone tip them off and say the world is gonna, or maybe the world will come to an end, or maybe like a shift
I
in
think-
consciousness.
I think at that time of the world when they were around, I just think that, not maybe as smart with the technology we had, but like they probably looked at previous events throughout lifetimes and the stories that they got from people and generations younger. Just a lot of shit was going on, you know what I mean? Maybe they just came up and said, hey, you know, we think that this is the cycle of what's going to happen. And then they made this little fucking ancient calendar, circle hieroglyphic freaking calendar of when the world was going to end in the middle of the woods somewhere.
I don't know. Aren't like Indians and stuff like that? They're all about like you taking like weird journeys and
What do you
spiritual
mean
trips
Indians? We're
sometimes.
talking about Mayans and that.
Well, Mayans are a
Frank.
type of
Why are you
Indian. That's what we
talking
just
about
said. What do you
Indians?
mean?
I didn't
No.
ask you how did Thanksgiving start between the Pilgrims and the Indians. I'm talking about Aztecs, the Mayans.
Cool. I mean
talking
like
about
a
ancient
Native American.
hieroglyphs, Frank.
I mean like a Native American. Like if they are that same type of culture. I don't mean literally Indian, but if they're like the same.
But we're talking about
thing.
generations different, like a big,
But
huge gap.
But I'm just saying, so even if whatever, I'm just saying if they were that type of culture, they have a lot of spiritual journeys. They're all about like trips like that. I feel like a lot of the stuff that came from them, like they were on like weird trips of like acid trips, mushroom trips, or like the toad scene or like stuff like that. That's where a lot of their stuff came from. Like I don't. That's just me personally, because exactly like you said, the technology wasn't there.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of the stuff that they said was like, oh, this spiritual trip took me on this, and this is what it said, and blah blah. But really, it was just some fucking drugs, and they didn't really realize.
Frank just thinks everybody was bugging out on drugs
for a second, because it's not drugs. Hear me out.
Fair enough.
If it's coming from the earth, is it technically a drug?
Mm-hmm.
Like just because the societal drug status definition is something that alters your mind, but like psilocybin, mushrooms, and marijuana were here, and look how much that expands our minds. Right, but hear me out. Back then, they didn't know about this other shit. So let's say they did take these, smoke weed and take these shrooms that they found in the woods, because that's what they were doing, and they go on this journey. And maybe through those journeys, those chiefs or the shamans did come in contact with like a higher self shit, and they were told from their inner self, like this is the date of a shifted consciousness. You know how we have constellations, and there's like everyone's their signs like Aries, Taurus, Pisces, and how the moon shifts. Maybe they, like Joe said, they calculated how many rotations it'll be until something big happens.
Something else happens again.
Right. Do you believe in that?
Maybe they
too?
maybe
Like
they thought they were
like,
calculating it right, and you know they don't.
What's the thing that happened this year? They said it was like the Mercury moon or something like that. Where
Mercury
like
rising or Mercury retrograde,
where like it was in the air. Yeah, and it was like in the air or something like that. It changed your moods. Like, do you believe in that?
I do. I think that. Yeah, I think that the. Dude, listen.
I mean, I believe in signs. Like, I do think that like certain signs, like personalities match certain signs and stuff like that. Like, I'm Pisces. I'm very emotional. I do agree with that. I'm not gonna say that that's not true. Fuck you. But I don't agree with that. Like, you think just because the moon is in a different space, it like affects your mood?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. If it
I
can
actually
affect
gotta say,
water, why can't it affect us?
I do think. Sometimes
I guess when you say it like that, that's not a bad point. That's probably one of the best points Danny's made.
No, I kind of believe him. This is one of the things where I'm like, I think sometimes like the way the Earth's rotation is or whatever, where the moon is from the sun to the fucking Earth to Pluto, you know, I think maybe sometimes it does have an effect on people's
behavior. Like you said, if it affects the water, why can't it affect the person? That makes sense. Like when you say it like that.
Can't scientifically explain why I think so, but like I think there is a science behind that, and it does, you know, have an effect.
I think that shit's true. Same thing, like, dude, you were born under these constellations and stuff, and like back then they read the stars, so maybe and it was more clear back then because there wasn't.
But were they really reading the stars,
pollution.
or were they just on mushrooms and they didn't really?
That's
know what
a great question. I
will
wish
never
I was
know.
there to find out.
Frank thinks it's because of drugs.
I don't know. I just feel like it. There you go. That's my what if.
All right,
theory,
listen. I'm gonna go on to the next question. Not to cut everybody off, but we got a lot. I'm gonna go through some stuff, and I'm gonna ask this next one exactly as written. Egyptian culture and weird ass space hieroglyphics. Like, why the fuck they are drawing people that look like this in a spacesuit? So obviously what she's referring to is they have found in caves, in Egyptian, you know, temples, tunnels, whatever, you know, people that look like they're in spacesuits, and like weird people that look like half animal, half, you know what I mean? There's a lot of weird shit that nobody can explain. And Egyptians,
matadors were real at some point?
So many, I don't know.
Really?
You think so? Like, why were the Egyptians writing this shit in their temples?
All right.
So not going off of like those like weird
like
theories and like God or things we don't know.
Encounter.
But if you're going off of like science and like evolution, I don't think a matador is possible, because if we did come from apes, at what point did it cross with a horse to where we looked like our half evolution self with half of another total different like breed of something? I just don't see it happening.
Maybe a horse, and I'm not trying to sound fucking stupid. Maybe a horse and a human somewhere mated. And dude, you never know with shit like that. Maybe there was a small family of these things.
And then in history, we killed off all the matadors, and that's why bestiality is a thing now.
Just like people just like people give birth to, you know, humans with two heads or like two bodies, you know what I mean? You can join whatever. They don't usually live long. So you never know. Maybe it was a thing and their breed just didn't make it. It didn't last.
I feel like
so that was the case with mixed, you know what I mean?
If we're really talking about this, if that was the case,
yeah, we're really gonna.
The man would have to have been the human, and the woman it would have had to have been the horse, because no woman is giving out those. No human woman is giving out those babies with hooves.
You never know, man.
You
never know.
Oh shit.
So
I believe that happening
though. Because this is kind of like this fantasy fairy tale stuff where you get like centaurs and dragons and nymphs and all these like wooden creatures and shit, you know, like this magical shit in the woods.
That's what I'm saying. That's like fantasies. I don't think it's real. I don't think a matador.
Listen, I think at one point it could have been real, like vampires and Dracula and werewolves, like
bro. But the Egyptians wrote that shit.
Right.
They got their little fucking chisel and they carved that shit into the rock.
So there's actually hieroglyphics of matadors, or is it just
there's real, bro, there's hieroglyphics of so many unanswered things.
There's a lot of unanswered questions. Yes.
No, Danny, we're not talking about unanswered questions. We're talking about unanswered drawings. Like there's unanswered answers. Like why did they draw these things?
Well, those aren't answered questions too, because we don't know the answers to them. I get what you're saying though.
We're on a roll. All right, ready? Next. Stonehenge. What? You got something to say?
Yeah, because I don't even know what Stonehenge is anyway.
You don't know what Stonehenge is?
No. What is Stonehenge? She literally just wrote Stonehenge. I love how the first two things she wrote, like, do some research on this, or why the fuck this? And then she just wrote Stonehenge.
Hey, man.
What is Stonehenge?
Stop questioning our listeners, man. They could ask us anything they want, however they want.
I also wanted to say something about this hieroglyphics thing, though.
All right.
Yeah, go back.
I just think it's crazy how you see similar hieroglyphics in different parts of the world, like Asia, Egypt, Mexico. They're all similar, but they're in distant parts of the world, and they all had the same idea to build pyramids. The drawings are similar, but
they're far apart. I get what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're like three specific places in the world, and I think that like they can't travel to each other in that long distance back then. So how did they know to build these temples in this specific spot, or like these pyramids under the Orion's belt, or how to make why a triangle?
You talking about like how some of the pyramids are all like specifically placed and built somewhere?
My personal thought that just came into my head when you were saying that was, what if, and it sucks because it's a what if theory, but what if it was like, because we always say like, oh, there has to be some other life somewhere else. Well, what if we are actually the last life and there was other life out there, but there's not anymore? And the other life that was out there on other planets was other spaceships of people in spacesuits coming here to try and find other things or whatever. And you know what I mean? That could have been that. And that's where the hieroglyphics came from. And when they went back, before they could make it back here, they were extinct or whatever it is, you know, two planets
so you're saying
space
like
or whatever.
The last of a civilization somewhere else came here, and that's why they have the hieroglyphics of it. And maybe they were more advanced and they worship them
like
like
maybe they made it here like one ship to scope it out, and when they went back to get the rest, they were taken out before they could make it back here, but the hieroglyphics were here from that visit. You know what I mean? That's what it could be.
What if, or this, Jess,
and that's why we can't find life form right now.
What if these hieroglyphics are just a guy? Like, what do we do today? We make movies, right? We make shit up and we
Don't,
fucking
bro.
put it on.
Don't even go
Bro,
there.
what if there was just a guy back in the Egyptian time who was just a good storyteller, and this was his way of
like what if he was just sitting
stories
around
for
with
the
kids
people.
and telling the kids stories and stuff like that, or
And
whatever
he
to keep
just
them
and
entertained.
this is just stuff he made up, man.
They didn't
You
have
think there were an
paper?
artist
So-
back then
so
that
you're
like
telling
created
me-
their own Ninja Turtle series?
Well, I'm
This
saying
guy
there's
just
no
made
paper.
This is called-
memes. This guy just made memes on hieroglyphics, which isn't it forever.
I mean,
in the
bro,
temples, in the
I'm not gonna
pyramids?
call it
memes,
making
no,
memes,
But
We're
like
not-
he was
we're not
making
gonna relate
stories
it
in a
to-
sense, because he was making lines of pictures that he could have been telling
Right.
someone a
I
story. They
don't-
didn't have paper or other things to write on. So yeah, it could have been where they told their stories and stuff for the day or whatever, where they kept kids,
Right, man.
entertained or whatever.
What's-
And then
what's
now
wrong
years
with thinking
later, when
that
we're just trying to
that's-
make sense of it, we're like, oh, what was this? This could have been something
What
that they
is
saw.
this?
Meanwhile, it could have been just
Ah.
been something that they were just making up for fun out of imagination.
Okay.
It's like if you watch the Terminator 500 years from now, you're like, oh my God, was there a robot? Was there a robot from the future? You know what I mean? Like,
Okay,
I don't
valid
know.
point.
anyway,
True.
Stonehenge, we're going to skip Stonehenge. It's a bunch of rocks in a circle. We don't really know what the fuck's going on over there, Jess.
Well,
Sorry,
no, these
no,
we
things.
don't know. We don't know how to answer
Oh, yeah.
Stonehenge.
All right, wait.
Crop circles. She wants
Wait,
to know
no,
about
'cause
crop circles. No,
I
no, no,
want-
no,
wait,
no,
'cause
no,
I
no,
wanted
no,
to
no,
read
wait,
one.
What?
I wanted to read one.
Oh,
when
go
you
ahead.
said
You want to
before,
read
when
one? Go.
Yeah,
Go
when I went
ahead.
before, but
Read
then
one.
Danny wanted to go back. Having the sixth sense and being in tuned with things like like you have ESP. That's something that I
What's
really wanted to
ESP?
touch on. So ESP is like an extra sense, like a heightened sense. I'll give you like the actual like Frankopedia right now. So ESP is an abbreviation for, or no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. Oops. Okay. It's like it's a heightened sense that's extra sensory perception. So you have an extra sight to perceive things in a different way than normal people or, average humans. So the reason I wanted to bring this up and talk about this, because I have always felt like I had a form of ESP. I feel like when I watch movies or when I watch TV shows or when there's certain things, like Karen says it to me all the time too. I'll be watching something and she'll talk to me and I'm just so zoned into what I'm watching that I just don't hear anything that's going on around me. And when I watch something, I get so into it that like when something devastating happens in a TV show, like I cry and stuff because I feel like I know the characters or whatever that I'm watching, because I get to know I get extra in tuned with the show. And I've always felt like that, like even with playing music. A lot of times when I play music and stuff like that, like I'll just play music in the living room or play my drum and shit like that. And I get so like, I don't know how to explain the vibe or whatever that you feel from the music. Like I do. I have always felt this way. You guys could laugh, whatever. But
No,
I have
it's
wanted
trippy, dude. It's like
I have
fucking
wanted to
crazy.
get tested, because you can get tested to see like if you have ESP and stuff like that.
I've never even heard about this
Wait,
shit.
now when you say ESP, are you saying just more in tune with shit, or like having telekinesis and able to move shit with your mind?
Yeah.
No, not telekinesis. It's a
I would
perception
love to have
thing.
telekinesis.
It's
Okay,
a perception thing. It's like being able to see extra things that most people wouldn't see, notice, hear, or feel.
Frank, you know how thick your glasses are right now? What do you
Fuck
mean?
you.
No, I get what you're saying, but more intuitive. I mean,
Yes, exactly.
okay, but what I don't understand how
So
you
you
want
want
to
to
with
get
the TV show.
diagnosed.
It's here.
With
So
real
this is the
life
simple-
hindsight.
This is the layman's terms. It says that that involves awareness, perception that involves awareness of information about events external to the self, not gained through the senses and not deductible from previous experience.
Spiritual
it's like-
knowledge.
Yeah, being able to understand things that you've never actually felt just from hearing someone's story or whatever it is, whether it was through music or a movie or things that you're watching, seeing, feeling, whatever. So yeah, dude, I don't know. I've always felt this way. Like even like in my past, like after my mom passed and things like that, like there's so many people that I met after that years later, like while I was still growing up, that I had like so many heart-to-heart conversations with, that like I had like an extra
Right, a connection.
feeling that I couldn't explain, that was some connection. Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've always believed in ESP. I'm huge about it. I definitely believe in it. So I kind of wanted to get into it because I'm like, what are your guys' thoughts on ESP?
I don't know anything about it, but I'm gonna really look into it after this.
All
Honestly.
right.
No, I'm serious. I never heard of that. I didn't know you can get tested for it. I mean, like, I always heard of it like as a sixth sense or hindsight, or like you just you have such strong emotions for things that you could almost predict how things are going to go. Like, you know, there's just like a lot of other ways I've heard this talked about, but never as like ESP and being a condition or, you know, shit like that.
I got you.
But it's pretty fucking cool.
That's kind of like, that's
it
like
almost sounds like
shit.
a superpower.
Yo,
you know,
like that's just being in tune with yourself. You know, this is what I talk about like spirituality and stuff. And you could gain this.
You think like
knowledge.
Meditating helps that
Yeah,
shit?
like being on a different frequency and picking up things that you don't see with your naked eye, you know?
Well, see, I think the actual having the sense isn't something that you can gain by being in tune. I think that that's something.
Do you think that's like genetic?
Well, not even genetic. I think it's something that, yeah, like whether you're born with it or not to have that. I think like the side of like what you're saying is more like how you can understand that someone that's going through that or whatever. But I think like the way that they process things in their brain and think about it, even if you tried to understand it and think about it like that, I don't think you would do it that way.
I think it's just like a way to really work your brain. You know what I mean? It's like if you're watching a movie, you train your brain to fixate on this movie so much. You're almost like Doctor Strange there, where you're literally so into this specific scene or, you know, episode or whatever, that your brain kind of forgets about anything else outside of what you're thinking of now. And you can almost in hindsight sit there and think of all the possibilities that could possibly happen because like you're so focused on it and you're so like invested in whatever it is that you're thinking of. So I just think like it's easier for you to sit there and like really come up with all different possibilities so that like when it does happen later on 10 minutes down the line when you're like, oh, this is going to happen to this guy you know, in a few minutes, like you can almost tell because you're thinking about it so much, you're feeling out everything that you're watching.
Okay.
So I just think like it's a really good way of like training and processing your brain around what you're focusing on immediately. You know what I mean?
Okay.
If I explain that correctly.
I mean, I got what you were saying, I think.
You know what I'm saying though?
Yeah, I think I do.
I almost think like you're really smart if you can do that shit.
Well,
just think of the focus that it takes
to focusing,
right. You know what I mean?
You got to rid all that negative energy from it, you know?
All right, so I'm gonna go to the next one too because I had another one that I like.
Keep going.
Do you think that the world is on a cycle and that we'll hit another ice age?
This was my next one.
And I like this question is because the one when you had COVID, me and Danny talked about Antarctica last week, right?
Right.
And when we were talking about it, one of the things that I said is how we don't. All right, so we talked about Pangea, how like all the continents used to be one continent and stuff like that. And in that, we were talking about how Antarctica could possibly be where the lost city of Atlantis is, and maybe it's frozen, and that's why we're not allowed to go there, and like certain things like that. So when I said that to him, I was like, well, it makes sense because what if Atlantis was part of Pangea, and then when it broke off, it just went down that way and got so frozen and whatever. So now with global warming and like things getting warmer in the earth, like we haven't had fucking snow, we were talking about it and all this stuff, and it's changing, and obviously the temperatures have been warmer than they normally are or whatever. Mother Nature's off. What if her way to correct herself is one of those big chunks of ice in Antarctica fucking breaks off and fucking goes into the ocean, and as it goes into the ocean, it fucking starts melting and melting and melting? What if something like that causes another ice age? Or what if it causes something like that to where, yeah, we fucking have somewhere where we start over?
That's crazy.
So to go on the question, like, do I think the Earth is like on its own cycle? Dude, I never thought of it that way, but like it could be. Like maybe the sun, or maybe the Earth, you know, like sheds its crust every so many fucking centuries or whatever.
Us being crust.
You know what I mean? No, like the Earth's crust, bro. What do you mean? That's what it's called. Like our continents, our plates, our tectonic plates. It's the Earth's crust.
Word.
There's a crust built around the world, the core, the center, the whatever.
That's crazy. How did that even happen? Like there's just liquid hot magma somewhere, but it's got to be boiling on something, and then what? It just goes around and outward. Like how is it the center of something? Is there air in the center, and then how are things like how is a planet? How is a planet?
How is the planet?
Bro, think about it. Like, if you have gravity being pulled towards the center of something, there's got to be something on the other side of it pulling it towards them.
Yeah.
But is it just like a circular room with like lava and shit just like is so the gases and shit are just blowing out of the dirt that it's pulling in the gravity? Like, I don't fucking get how a planet is a planet. Do you know what I'm saying?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thanks, Joe.
all I got out of that
Yo,
was,
has no idea
I
what
was
I'm
thinking
talking
Austin
about.
Powers, liquid hot magma.
Mm-hmm. I follow.
No, but like,
Dude.
what is at the center of a planet? Let's start with that. Okay.
Magma.
Nucleus.
Okay. Now,
It's-
in this
it's
magma, right? In this magma,
Liquid hot magma.
there's got to be a force of like bubbling sensation. So the magma just like bubbles around, moves, right?
Okay.
And then there's got to be like some type of rockage around
No,
it.
well,
Correct?
the pockets to where that would make it move is the volcanoes. That's where the air is coming through. That's what makes it keep moving and stuff, because the volcano is an air pocket that's going out.
So a volcano, if you follow that all the way down,
It goes
That
to
gets-
the center of the earth. Goes to what the magma is. That's why magma comes out of it. Lava, the stuff that's in the center of
Okay.
the earth, comes
So
out of a
then-
volcano. That air
So then-
pocket. It's like the whale hole of the earth.
okay, thank you, because that makes sense. And there's
It's
tons
the
of-
earth's blowhole. Yo, wait, can I just say?
You just
I'm trying
did.
to think that every creature on earth has a blowhole. Every creature on earth, every living type of thing on earth has its own blowhole.
What has an in has
Hey,
an
They don't
out.
all
one,
have to be
one,
dead.
one of the questions is, do you believe in Darwinism, like evolution versus the creation, like, you know, how we were
Yes.
created? Do you believe in that shit?
I believe it was evolution over like God made Adam and Eve out of some ribs and shit.
Some ribs and shit.
Wait, isn't it like you took a rib from Adam or
That
whatever?
barbecue sauce is delicious.
Oh god, man.
Out of some
Tastes so
ribs
good,
and
make you want to
shit.
slap your mama. No, but
I want my baby.
I do. I think it's more evolution.
Okay, so do you think like we came here? Do you think we came here, or think we started from like bacteria, which grew into like a
I just think we
tadpole?
started
Yeah.
from an organism, a
Yeah, that's
cell,
what I'm
or
saying. That
whatever.
grew into like a tadpole,
And we
that grew
just
into something else, and
evolved, man,
and
right.
evolved. Yeah. And I think there was different types of tadpoles, so to speak. They didn't all have to be tadpoles or whatever, but they all started out from little things that were whatever exactly bacteria by
Like, bro, they say the closest thing that like we came from is like a monkey, a primate. I wouldn't say we're literally like a monkey evolved into a human, but like there
Well,
was
here's the thing. Wait.
No,
we
I
have
would,
more
because
of a-
that from
there was
have
a
a
species of primate that was more human than the actual species of a primate, of like primordial monkey. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I feel like we evolved, bro. Years and years, we evolved, man.
they
Look
say
at
we have
Frank. He's
more
got,
of
you
a
know, me and
reptilian
Frank with the
brain,
beard.
though.
Like,
The way we think is more reptilian
could
side
see
than
it.
it is for mammal.
Well, I think, and that's why you have like when you're like, oh, these
Are you
people
saying
are
we
dumb as
come from
fuck. How can people
reptiles?
be
What are
so
you
dumb?
talking
Like blah blah
about?
blah. Those are certain people that
Wait,
haven't come
Danny,
as far
what
in
did Danny
evolution yet
just? What did Danny
as
just
others.
say?
Like, think about that for a second. When you're thinking about certain people are smarter than others, and then you're talking about evolution, the people that are born that aren't smart are the people that haven't had evolved as far as the other people that are smarter than them. Because
You're
even
saying
though,
like in the human species,
like even though right now you could, like, let's say out of all the people we know, you could point out 10 people to be like, yo, that person's dumb as fuck, they're stupid
Okay.
as hell, like blah blah blah. So they're less evolved than us, but they're still further evolved than people
Frank, you're
50
putting
years
yourself on
ago.
a pedestal. I want you to know that.
Fuck you, listen to my point. But they're still further evolved than people 50 years ago, because they were born a step ahead because of our technology, because it's that.
Okay.
But they're still not as evolved mentally. Like, it's like how when we were talking about the animals, and how I said, like, I feel like animals have more of a better knowledge than us. Like, yeah, they may have a step of starting back because they don't have as much technology as us, whatever, but they are more what's the word I'm looking for?
Civilized.
No, like they figure things out on their own. Like they oh my
Natural?
god, I can't think of the word. Fuck.
Okay.
I hate when that happens.
Take a breather.
Resilient. That's the word I'm looking for.
Resilient. Good word.
They're more resilient than we are, animals. So like, I feel like, yeah, like humans aren't resilient anymore because of our so far advanced technology. We don't have to be, but yeah, like back then it was different. Like, you know what I mean? So as evolving happens, and in that sense of whatever,
Evolution.
the people that are smarter have evolved further, but the other people are just the fucking regular average Joes that are still processed through evolution, just not as far.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Can I read off another question? I feel
Real-
like
okay.
conspiracy over here. Why? Go ahead, Danny, real quick.
No, I wanted to
Real
just
quick,
talk
Danny.
to
Go ahead.
okay. So he asked if the Earth
Talk
was
to.
on a cycle.
Who's talked to her?
Jess had mentioned if
Right.
we thought that
Oh.
the Earth was on a cycle. How, like you mentioned, there was ice age, it melted, became now civilization. I'm not saying that another ice age will happen, but think about it like this. Let's say
Wow.
that the dinosaurs were wiped out from a meteor, right? So there was that stage of the world, and then it took 65 million years for us to rebuild, and now we're here at this point. Do you not think that within the next 100 years, we're going to blow ourselves up? There's too many.
I don't think we're going to
nuclear-
blow
there's
ourselves up.
too many
I do think there is
nuclear
a
weapons on
big
this earth than we need.
no.
Something is going to
No,
happen.
I don't think we're going to blow
Some
ourselves
shit,
up.
whatever. Call it whatever you want. Let's just say it is
Hmm.
global warming that melts us. Give it.
I don't even
another
think that's going to
1,000
melt
years.
us.
Give it a
Well, see,
1,000
I
years.
do,
Yeah.
because going back to our theory, my theory before of saying like, what if we are the last civilization? What if the reason why when we go to space we can't find other civilizations is because we're the last one? Because if other civilizations, while they were on their planets, what if they were drilling for oil and doing things like that too, and they fucking blew up their
Destroyed their
planets
own
or whatever
planet.
and destroyed it, and we're the last ones, and we're sitting here destroying ours too, and we're gonna be the last civilization to fucking be gone.
Maybe.
That would be a good movie.
We're still here, though.
The Last Civilization. I like that for like a movie
Hear me
idea.
out though.
I gotta
too,
call your
based
sister
on
about that one.
Do it up, bruh. There's movies where like they take people and they freeze them and they send them into like not the future, but like the year will be 22,965 and they've been cryogenically frozen and they land on an Earth-like planet that's habitable. Shit like that, like at the end of like Interstellar, kind of that type of shit where they're looking for a habitable planet. If that shit happened now, we just found a habitable planet not too far ago. It's very similar to us, except the oxygen's
Not too
like way
far
higher.
ago.
Not too far ago. Anyways, I don't know much about that, but they're definitely building ships to send people to that space, to cryogenically freeze them and send them out there. I don't know who it's going to be, but they're going to go populate another planet. So maybe you're right. Maybe that's what had happened. Maybe that's what happened and they landed here and they thought of them as gods. Like all these huge creatures. Wait. Like the pharaohs have with the like the fox and the different eagles and shit.
Mhm.
Maybe they're coming from other places and they could either shapeshift or whatever the fuck. Maybe they just went to hide.
Shapeshift. They got superpowers.
I don't fucking know. But they're from a different universe. They could. Who knows?
Got a
I
bunch
just
of
think it's
Lokis out
crazy.
there.
Yeah, a bunch of them.
If you could sign up, if you found out there was like a program that you could sign up to be frozen, to be like put for the future and like stored and like come back like 100 years from now or 1,000 years from now, would you do it?
No.
That's a good question.
Like, let's say it was like, it didn't have to be like right now. What if you could sign
My
up?
current
and then it was,
situation in life, no.
No,
No.
but like, what if like the
They're
contract
saying you
was
sign
like,
up and you
what-
get frozen for X amount of years.
But no, I was just gonna say,
Right,
what if
but
it was
being
like,
in the current situation in my
well, as I
life,
say, not
I
now,
wouldn't
because
go and
obviously
do
I wouldn't
that.
want to either. My kids are like little. What if it was like a contract where they were like,
Oh,
listen, sign
fucking
up for
hell.
this program and we'll freeze you at 50. Or like when you turn 50, we'll freeze you because you're older, you know, you can be whatever, you're not gonna live as long.
Now wait,
So we'll
time
freeze
out.
you a couple years before you die to see
Okay.
if you can make it to the future as like a testing thing or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? What if it was like something like that?
was it for testing or repopulating?
No, for testing, like to see if it would work. Because we
Like,
don't really know
okay.
if you could freeze someone and bring them back like years
I
later.
don't think you can, man. You
Well,
got
that's what I'm saying.
oxygen that needs to go
So
to your
what if
brain,
there
your
was-
body your blood stops moving, like your
So
body
what if
just
there was a
it's
study that they were
frozen, but it's
doing?
gonna be dead when it
Well,
falls
what if
out.
there was a study that they were doing to try and see if we can store a body for like 100 years and then bring it back? So they said, listen, they don't want to do it to someone young because obviously they'll test it on someone that's older.
They're gonna need to do it on someone young to see if they can still reproduce and all their organs are still in order. They're not gonna
No, I
send
think the
someone who's
first-
50 who has heart attacks and diabetes.
Well, I think,
and, you know,
I think they would probably choose a 50-year-old that's healthy, not someone that had heart attacks and diabetes. But I think you would choose someone older because the life isn't worth as much in the sense of because they have less years to live.
Yeah, but it's not really
So, like,
about
you're
the
just
life
testing
being
to see
as
if they
worth
can
as
come
much.
back.
It's the
You're not
body.
test-
You need the body to be healthy. You can't
Yeah.
have it older and kind of halfway worn through its life already.
50
You need a
years, bro,
solid,
that's a
healthy
lot.
body.
You do.
Yeah.
You need an Arnold
You need a healthy
Schwarzenegger
body
type.
to get an accurate. If this was like an actual test and people were gonna do this like and volunteer, whatever.
Yeah,
the
but
fuck
if they
you
were
wanna
going to
call
do it for
you would
normal people,
need-
wouldn't you think they want to test it on like a normal average
I'm
Joe,
sure
or
they
Let me
would.
ask
someone
you
that
a
wouldn't be
question.
more
But
likely
if you're
to make
trying
it?
to get
Because
the
if you're doing
best
someone
result-
athletic or that has a lot of
First
health,
of all, to compare to real life situations, there have been mountaineers, whatever you want to call them, people that like literally go and trek mountains who have died in the mountain on the top in the freezing cold. Always, they have just lost breath, died, whatever, passed out, and have been frozen. They have found people from hundreds of years back, younger people frozen in the ice, thawed out, their hair was still there, eyes, teeth, all that shit, and the body was just deteriorated. So if you kind of wanted to get an idea, you would kind of refer to something that's already happened like that already. So like a person normal, like perfectly healthy, hiking up the fucking Mount Everest, disappears for about 10 years. They finally find that body when another group of hikers 10 years later is going and they see it, and it's a perfectly preserved frozen body. He thaws out, that person's dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, unless
'cause
they
like you said,
put
the
like
oxygen,
all this
like, it would have
embalming
to be-
fluid in you, like it
would have
just,
to be
I don't
like a
think it's
hyperbaric
possible.
chamber type of thing where exactly they can
Right,
freeze your
you know what I
organs while
mean?
still pumping oxygen to your brain and
Right.
blood to
If
your
it's
heart
not
and
done
things like that.
scientifically and like manually, I don't think you would literally make it.
Yeah, you'd have to be in a pod that was under like some
it
science
just
lab that
kinda
was
makes
had
sense,
electric
but-
and stuff. I agree. I got you.
Yeah, I'd sign up.
No, but all right. So that was
You
yeah.
really
Just
would.
if it was
You would sign
possible
up,
though,
wouldn't you?
if it was possible, would you do it? Would you sign up?
Let's say they had the technology and they're like, you freeze yourself now. We're gonna wake you up in 100 years. Yeah, I would do it.
But you'd have to say goodbye to everybody that you know right now.
Yeah.
You would do it to come back in 100 years just to see what it was like?
Very good question. I didn't think about it like that. Like I knew I was leaving, but I was like, can y'all come with me?
Well, that's
No,
what I'm
I
saying.
get
Like
what
you'd
you're
have to say
saying.
goodbye to your mom, your
Everybody.
sister, everyone.
I won't see anybody. Even your kids won't
Us,
be around in
yeah.
100 years.
Exactly. So like you'd
Everybody,
have to you'd be like Captain
nobody.
America in a sense. Like you'd literally have to
Do you
like,
think do you think
start
people would
over.
even want to give a shit about you? Like you get out, okay, what? You go back to normal life? You're just assigned.
No, I
project
mean
now?
at that point,
You think
part of a
people are going to be
government
like,
experiment.
ooh, the 150-year-old man who's still young? Like, do you think your whole life's going to change like to popularity or?
No.
I don't think it would be
well,
about that. I think it'd more be about like because you'd want to see what it was like then. You'd want to be the one person that wasn't able, like most people
Right,
wouldn't
but
be able
this
to do
has
that. So
never been done before. So if it did work, like you're going to be a big fucking deal. This
Yeah,
isn't
but
going
I
to be like,
also
okay, it
think
worked.
like
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, a
yeah,
lot of
Danny,
people
go
would,
on with
yeah.
your life now. 150 years from now.
Yeah,
Good
you
luck
definitely turn into
adjusting
like
to
an
everything
instant
that's new.
celebrity.
You know what I mean? This is like
If
that's
celebrities were even
fucking-
still a real thing.
that's what I'm saying, who knows?
No,
You'd
it's only
have to
100
be-
years. It would still be a thing.
Yeah, but you have to be part of like the government program where they unfreeze you for a specific reason to check you out, and
You'd
then
be
they're
their
gonna
super soldier. No,
basic. Well, I don't know,
I'm kidding, but yeah, I hear
but I'm
you.
saying like
You're
I'm
gonna
sure they'd
come
have
out
a place for
decrepit
you
in a
to live.
wheelchair. Super soldier. Danny's like in his wheelchair.
We brought you back, but none of your motor skills are working. So here's this nice wheelchair.
Oh my god!
I'm the
imagine.
super soldier.
I'm
such a
175 years old,
I'm
and I
going
really
to
love
hell.
my new life.
All right, I'm not going. I changed my mind. You convinced me.
I
I'll
would-
All
pass
right,
on that.
guys.
I wouldn't do
Let's
it, but
go
just
to
because
the
I have
movies.
kids. There's no way
Here's
I
a
could like
question.
say I
Here's
gotta
a
leave my
question.
kids and go
Ready?
frozen.
Let's switch it up now. Let's say if you did decide to do it, your families would be set up for life. They would never have to pay
Ooh.
for something else.
Doing it.
Yeah.
Doing it.
That
Let's
man.
say,
My wife and kids are
Doing it.
Hear me out.
financially set
yeah.
comfortably for the rest
Yep.
of their life. Doing it.
You're gonna
But
trust
you're
the government.
Frozen, but you're
You
frozen.
guys, the
For 50
the
years, for 50
conspiracy
years.
theorists that you guys are, you're gonna
Yeah, if there's
trust
a
the government
contract,
to
they're
take
gonna
care of your
work.
family while you're frozen.
The government puts all these contracts and laws so they can use it to their advantage. If they're gonna put that contract for you to sign,
you're not true conspiracy theorist.
No, if they're gonna give you a contract, that contract's still gonna be valid. If they're gonna give me a contract saying like,
you're gonna be around to make sure that they follow it.
No, but there'll be lawyers in place of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say my wife would be and my lawyers and stuff that have.
And what if something goes wrong and you're just not around and they try to fucking screw around your wife, man, and your lawyer?
That's why you have the documentation.
That's why
before you do it.
What if the documentation was false or someone fucked up and now you're gone? I'm serious, bro. This is the government.
If I'm signing up for something like that with the government, you best believe I'm gonna have a lawyer and make sure that paperwork is fucking ice tight. Like a turtle pussy. Ice tight, huh? Airtight.
Like a turtle pussy.
Yeah, you didn't know turtle vaginas were airtight? They're watertight.
Watertight and airtight are two different things, Frank.
Watertight, whatever. No, it's not. Watertight, airtight. It's sealed, so not either or couldn't pass through.
Either or.
If water's not coming through, air's not coming through.
Facts.
Hey man, let's put a pause on turtle pussy real quick. Let's get into something else, man. There's a lot. There's another question.
Anything about jail?
What topic?
Did she mention
Like that Frank's gotta ask. He's gotta ask. And then he wants to know why we have little inside things on him and we laugh at him. Did she say anything about jail? No, but she did say she does want to know. It's like a controversial thing, right? Then we're gonna go back a little bit to the good old days. Should they have killed that dang gorilla when the kid fell in its habitat at the zoo?
Yo.
If you don't know who we're talking about Mr. Harambe himself.
No, honestly, what year was that? Was that 2016?
Who knows?
It wasn't that long ago, but
I think it was 2016.
That was when life started to slowly fall apart.
Yeah, it was when life
once Harambe died, man, that was it. Listen, everything went fucking downhill.
You know how I theorize about some other shit, but I think that specific event is what triggered a lot of other things to happen in this universe.
Wait, so what happened?
All this crazy shit. Listen. You go back, Joe, you can tell the story in a second, but you go back to when this gorilla was shot. So much shit started to happen on a fucking downward spiral for the earth since then. Tell them what happened, Joe.
What are you? Where?
You were just saying about
I'm listening. Oh, so you set me up to start the story. Right. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thanks for the intro. I don't know, man. A kid's fucking at the zoo.
Yeah, he fell into it. He was climbing on the cage or whatever, fell into his exhibit, and then they shot the
started
gorilla.
Dragging his ass around, and they had to shoot the gorilla.
They didn't have to shoot him.
They didn't have to shoot him. That's not
Why
his
not
fault.
though? He had the kid in right, but they don't just let the kid die. Oh, that was your son's fault. He's 8.
That's why they have signs in place and parents to watch their kids. I mean, I'm not saying you let the kid die, but you shoot the gorilla with like a tranq dart or like something else. You don't just shoot and kill the gorilla. He's in his own habitat, and he's like, you're disrupting his habitat. He didn't come out.
He's actually not in his own habitat. He's in a habitat that we gave him. His own habitat would be in the fucking
that's what I meant.
He's
in his habitat, like cage or whatever. You broke into that. He didn't break out of that cage.
He didn't break into it. An 8-year-old got excited, climbed on the thing, and happened to accidentally fall over.
But that's what I'm saying. So he got excited and climbed the thing. A, where are his parents watching him? B, he shouldn't have been climbing on the thing where you're not supposed to be climbing.
C, maybe the zoo should have had a bigger and better protection in the front of a gorilla's fucking.
Yeah, but you don't kill the gorilla for that. Like,
right. I'm not saying
jump
that
out of the cage. Like if he was in the park, like jumped out of his cage, something, I would say, okay, I justified to kill him. But because he was still in his exhibit,
in the heat of the moment. You're a worker there. This has never happened before. This is like one of those.
Yeah, in a panic, I get it. People make mistakes.
Bad example, but it's like 9/11, bro. Shit's fucking going down. You don't know what the fuck to do. This is like the fucking virus, man. Shit's happening. What do? We panic and we do the wrong thing. You think they should have fucking shot him? Yeah. Probably not, right?
No, I don't think so.
I think they should have tranquilized him. Maybe they didn't have the fucking opportunity to do it.
But also, why is this guy carrying a gun in a zoo? Like, if that was secure,
because they're there. The zoo mandates that they have armed weapons on premises for situations like this. For when someone either A, jumps into one, or A or B falls over.
What if there was like an active shooter or something like that? Like it's a big public place. where like, yeah, they do need to have.
I'm sure it's mandatory
like
to have some type of firearm in there.
Yeah, like every public place like that. Like even if you go to like a concert venue or you go to like Madison Square Garden, you go to something like that. Like even their security might not have guns, but they have some type of office in that building that has officers with guns in there.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But so
again, so wait, we're all in agreement that he shouldn't have killed them.
No,
killed Harambe.
Of course not. Of course
I don't think
not.
that
but
started a bunch
it's a
of
tough
things
situation,
Earth,
man.
Bro, if you think about it,
nah, but for real, Frank, listen, I don't want to theorize this subject, but it looks like we're fucking already into it. Shit started going downhill once this happened.
I think that's more of a coincidence that things just started happening after that happened. I don't think that was why.
That you still believe in coincidences.
See, I think that's what's more realistic is that Betty White and fucking Bob Saget dying is related to Ghislaine Maxwell's list. I think that's more realistic than Harambe making your life events.
The first thing I heard when Betty White and Bob Saget died, I said, "What did they know about the Illuminati that Danny knows?" And he's gonna tell me. He's gonna tell me some crazy shit that they got them finally.
Everybody keeps saying to me, they're like, Bob Saget, I could see him being on the list, but Betty White. Bro, Betty White was a raw comedian with a lot of money. A lot of money.
One of the most powerful, in
her. Where do you think she got all the money from? I'm just saying. Of work. She could have been a perfect cover in a sense of like if you had about
Betty White.
I'm just saying she was a raw fucking comedian.
It's only been a week.
No, but honestly, I did when I first heard both of them, like in the same week, right after like the trial was like, guilty a couple weeks back. I was like, damn, I wonder if like they're taking out the list before it gets exposed. Like, what if they really are
I was just
starting to kill off the names before
they literally they found her guilty of sex trafficking, but what about who she was sex trafficking them to?
Well, that's
that's what we got to get into. That's
the black book that they have. But that's the stuff that they're going to keep investigating. But she definitely has to have other things, other evidence in a safety deposit box, someone that's locked up, that she's going to start trading information to get off time. Like now that she has been found guilty, like 6ix9ine had like 60 years and ended up only serving a couple because he gave up all those names. I feel like she's going to pull a 6ix9ine. I feel like she's going to pull a 6ix9ine and do the same thing and be giving up mad people that can start getting arrested from like being involved in the sex trafficking ring that they don't have names of or any evidence of yet.
Real quick, do you remember all the memes that were going on when they had Tekashi 6ix9ine in the courtroom and he's like,
oh my god!
Yo, there was one of them that I don't know why I laughed
so hard. The Bob the Builder one?
No, it was
it was a Bob the Builder one about.
He goes, "What else do you know?" And he was like, "I know where Waldo is."
Yeah, I know Waldo.
Bro. I came across that one day and I was just reading it. I was like, oh my god, I lost my shit, bro.
That one was a good one. No, but those memes were funny though, and it was just like, oh, only 2 more years, still got like this many, and it's like, all right, I know something else, and those memes were all fucking funny.
I can see what you're saying though with the whole Ghislaine thing.
I do think that that's what's going to start happening. She had to be found guilty before she started giving up names. That stuff has to be leverage for her. Like, okay, if I'm found guilty, I keep this stuff in my back pocket so that way I can get out.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Somebody like that has to have something like that up their sleeve.
There's another question I want to bring up because it's kind of like relatable now. It's kind of like a pretty big topic. Should trans men be allowed to play women's sports?
Oh man, why do you
I gotta hear your opinion. I want to know.
We're gonna lose followers over my answer.
No, for real.
I don't think so.
You think so or not? Bro, keep it simple. We don't have to dive into it. Just yes or no. Do you think so?
No.
Absolutely not. No way. I think it should be no way.
My thing on the whole, like changing your
gender.
Bro,
like thing, I respect the change of gender. Like
I would say, well, if you want to change your gender, you go through the full surgery and you actually change your body parts. Cool. I can call you were a man, I'll call you a woman now. I will say you're a woman now.
Right.
For the ones that are like say that they are other things and they haven't gotten that surgery, that's where I'm like, no, this is just ridiculous. Like you wouldn't identify at 60, you wouldn't identify as a different ethnicity. You can't identify as a different gender. Like it's not the same. So to me,
it's not.
If it's someone that has gone through all those surgeries that we're talking about and they were a man that is a woman now, no, they should not be allowed to play women's sports because when they were born as a man, they are bigger muscle mass, bigger certain things, more testosterone, more things to where, they did have more growth, more strength. So you are different. Your body is different and more bigger than a regular average woman because you were born a man that did change. So
it's in your genetics.
Yeah,
it's in your muscular build.
So to me, no, I don't think that they should be able to.
There's a guy right now. I don't know the specifics, whether it's school, college, high school, I forget. But there's a guy who went through the motions to changing into a girl, a woman. And he was like a very good swimmer. And he now swims for the girls swim team. And he is breaking all types of records. Like these girls can't even come close to him. It's just like the most unfair thing ever. And it's like hard because it's like, yes, you support him because it's just such a more common thing. You know what I mean? Hey,
I'm sorry. He said, you know what I mean? No, because that's how I feel. That's why I said
set me up.
Because that's how.
But dude, like, I just don't think when it comes to sports, like, I don't know. I don't even know how I feel about.
Here's the thing.
He's a guy who changed to a girl. No, you're not. Your thing's not. I'm doing my thing first.
Do your thing. Do your thing.
Joe
is this guy kidding me? Is he serious? Is he for real, Frank?
I had something to say. I stopped. Go ahead. Continue.
Oh my God. I forget what I got to say. Go ahead, Danny.
No.
Wait, he was saying that
what was I saying? I'm being not even
about them using the
no. Like I don't even know how I feel if like she did the change, he did the change. You know what I mean? Okay, man changed to woman. Like I don't even know how I feel about letting her swim with the guys. Again, it's the physical body. Like it's just, I don't want to say even she now has a manly body, but like her muscle mass is different. She trained as a man to be a swimmer. And it's like, if you really, not to say guys are better than girls, I'm sure there's millions of girls swimmers better than guys, but like in this situation, like high school, younger, the body developed, like he's a man and he just outswims every one of these girls. And it really is unfair to just
absolutely
respect him as a woman now and let him in a woman when it's a sport that's not unisex and it's like, this is the woman's part. This is like the NBA, WNBA. Like you can't really. It's hard.
I don't even think they should be able to be in the same locker room or bathroom. To be honest,
it's like LeBron James just changing into a girl.
Yeah, exactly. He shouldn't be able to go play WNBA. Exactly,
it's ridiculous.
I don't even just because they have the same body parts after the surgery. I don't think they should be able to go into the same restroom and stuff like that. Because perfect example, like my daughter, right? Let's say when she's a teenager, she goes into a restroom by herself. Someone that had a surgery that is now a woman goes into the bathroom. You may have had the surgery, you may feel like a woman inside, you may be a woman now and whatever, but you were born a man at some point. So when you're when you're around in that bathroom, like it's just not comfortable for me as someone that's not someone that's changed or whatever.
To be fair,
to have both mindsets and be able to be in that bathroom now, just because you changed.
To be fair, I kind of agree with you, but it is such a big normalized thing now, and
but
they do give you gender neutral bathrooms.
It's not like you go to they should have their own bathroom.
Can I say something real quick?
But there's some places where they don't have the gender neutral bathroom, and they can
because you're just talking about relieving yourself. You're not talking about like competing for money or fame or respect. This is like you're just going to relieve yourself.
No, that's a good point.
So like it's easier to normalize that.
Well, no, I wasn't saying just the restroom. I'm saying like the locker rooms, like for these sporting events and stuff, like in the locker rooms. Think about it, like a gymnastics event. Somebody that was a man that's now a woman, you're in the gymnastics locker room with all these other girls that are getting into, like that's not good to me. Like even though you are a woman now or your body parts are changed, you still have that mental ability from when you were a man before you changed. Even if you always felt
think like that, if you're transforming yourself into a female, you're not gonna be like, oh, I'm trying to fuck these girls, so I'm gonna go into the
no, I'm not saying they have to think about it like fuck these girls, but you were a man that was in a man locker room.
Their mentality was female before their body was female.
Not all of them. Some of them.
Wait. They didn't want to be in a men's locker room. Why would they go in there after they're changing themselves?
But see, that's what I'm saying. They shouldn't have to. That's why I said they should have their own. There should be their own. Like if you are changed or gender changed
Neutral.
or trans or whatever, and you have changed your gender or you're
Neutral.
neutral, whatever, that should be the bathroom that you have to go to. Just because you went from man to woman doesn't mean you should be able to go into a woman's bathroom now, because you have had both.
Right, but I
You
think
want-
whether
whether
you
you
wait,
felt
wait.
through a
Let me
woman
ask
or
you a
not,
question.
because not all
Is
of them
this-
always
is
felt that
this-
way.
Is this pre or post operation?
Could be either one. That's what
Because
I'm saying.
if
Because
you're in
no
the
matter
I
what,
process
guess
of
that all
changing,
depends on the
listen,
situation.
if you're in the
man, for that
process of
person.
changing and you already have breast augmentation and you're gonna get changed and snip the PP and put a vajayjay, you're gonna go into the female's restroom, I would assume, because that's where you're trying to go. You're there's only
But
two
now-
stalls in a men's
but
room.
like I
You're not gonna
said,
be
now-
fucking on the urinal, standing up in a dress with breast implants.
but
They
that's
want
why
to
it should
be
be a
there
gender
already.
neutral bathroom. Because
Right.
again, even if on the flip side, God
I would-
forbid something in the bathroom, your lock isn't locked all the way, blah, blah, blah. Now you're going down and you're going pee and you're sitting down and fucking kid walks in to go to the bathroom and they see your fucking
In the
penis
men's
between your
room?
legs. No, in the women's room.
Maybe he thinks you're taking a shit, Frank.
No,
Who
first
knows?
No,
of
no, no. I'm
all-
saying like he said.
You can't
if you're someone
determine if
that
someone's
has-
sitting down to pee or
Yeah,
He
you
said
really
if you're
can't.
someone that has breasts but hasn't
Right.
snipped the pee yet, you would go to the women's room, you would assume. Because you're not going to
If
stand up
you're-
at the
if
urinal with
you're-
breasts.
If you're
So-
coming out looking like a female,
Yes. But you
Yes,
still
I
have a
think
pee
you
under your
should.
outfit.
I think you
Okay,
should be in the
Now you're in the
But
women's bathroom
Frank,
sitting in a
that's
stall,
like-
and someone comes to use the bathroom and accidentally comes in and sees your pee-pee on a woman's body in the woman's bathroom. That's not
How
fucked
often
up
is
for
that
them.
really going to happen?
How is
Frank?
that?
Yeah,
fucked
but that's
up for
like
them?
anything.
Why are they looking
walking-
at your private
That's
shit?
like
just
that's
saying-
like
I'm
Danny and
saying
his
if it was like an
girlfriend could
accidental
sneak into
thing.
the girl's bathroom and they get it on. You know what I mean? And then your daughter walks in to go to the bathroom and opens it up and sees Danny rimming her from the back. You know what I mean?
That's
It's
a
just
crime. That's literally a crime. to
Right,
have
but
sex in
like,
public.
okay.
Why do you
So
gotta
that's how
involve
you
me
get
on
in
that?
trouble. But
because I don't know. You seem more likely to be the one to do that.
Oh, cool.
honestly.
Thanks.
but
I
Well,
My
you're a
thing
fun
is
guy,
though,
man.
I'm
Thanks.
just using that as an example. But like my point is like it's you're the one that's putting the chance for something awkward to arise or happen.
Okay, so
because
then-
you're the person that
Frank,
chose to
not
change
everybody.
or whatever, you should be
know
able
what I
to
mean,
go to
everybody
your
for
own-
themselves these days, Frank.
right. So now what? You have breast implants and you're in a dress and you have a blonde wig on, right? You're out doing your thing. You feel like a woman. You're gonna go into the men's room.
No, you're gonna go in the gender neutral bathroom because you know you
But
were.
what
a
if
man
there
before.
is?
That's
what
what
if
I'm
there
saying.
is
If there's
none?
no
What
gender
if there is
neutral,
none?
then where
Because
you
not
going?
everywhere
That's
does
what
it.
I'm
It's
saying is there
still a
should be.
new
Like if we
thing,
have
though,
them,
Frank.
if you're saying that on an
Right, but
application
it's-
to a
it's
job,
new
it says
thing.
male,
This is
female,
all-
gender
this is
neutral now.
all-
When you get a birth certificate, it says male, female, gender neutral now. That's an option. When you have a baby,
Right,
that is
but
actually an
it's
option
new.
to say.
It's brand new. Frank.
understand that,
People
but
gotta
if you
adjust
passed
to
it as
still.
a
We're
law-
still in the adjusting phase.
I understand that people are still adjusting to it, but you don't pass it as a law if you're still adjusting. You pass it as a law when the adjustment has been finished. You pass it as
Yeah,
a
but
law.
then that means you're taking
make it an
people's rights away
option.
because it's their right to decide what they want to do with their body, with their life, with their.
But
anything.
gender
What do you
neutral
mean?
is not a fucking
gotta
thing.
use the
There's no such
bathroom,
thing as
Frank.
not having a gender. When you're born, there's two genders. There's
I
vagina
understand
or
that, but
penis.
that's-
So when you're like,
that's
I
the
feel
whole
this
thing
way
right now, Frank. They're trying to normalize it.
Exactly,
It's like
trying
a
to, but we're
thing
letting them
right now.
normalize
It's
it by
developing.
passing these laws by saying, okay, on your birth certificate now, you can have this as an option. Even though scientifically it's not a thing for you to be born without a penis or a vagina, we'll let you choose gender neutral because whatever it is.
Right,
We're gonna
because
let
so
that go.
many
Wait,
people
wait,
are
wait.
doing it. You
Wait,
can't
wait,
turn
wait.
around and say you can't do this.
Hold
We're
on.
not fucking
Wait,
North
wait,
Korea, Frank.
Wait. We're gonna let that happen and make that law without scientific, because again, we're not Korea. It doesn't have to be you can tell someone that they're being stupid just by their opinion because there's no fact behind it.
Right, but
If
like
there's no
this
fact,
is the
wait,
world.
let
We're
me
not just gonna
finish
say
a
you're
fucking
stupid.
sentence.
Hold on, Joe.
Dude, you can't do that to someone. You can do that to someone to say, if you don't have a fact on this and it's just your opinion to say, I feel this way, but there's no actual fact on it, you can be as the government to say, no, we're not going to pass that. But if it was going to be something down the line that we weren't going to accommodate because we're going to let
Right.
people feel this way and we're going to let them do that, before that law should be passed, there should be gender neutral bathrooms everywhere. There should be preparations out there to let that transition smooth, to let
Okay, I
it
get
be
what you're
easier
saying.
for
You
people
understand how
because you're like,
big of a
oh, we're all
transition
going
it
through it
is,
still.
right?
We're all getting it. Yeah, absolutely. But you don't pass that law to say, yes, it's okay to choose this until
They
all
got to
that stuff
start
is smooth
somewhere,
over
though.
and
Or you're
transition.
saying that they just started in the wrong spot?
Yes, absolutely.
Basically,
you don't pass that law to say yes, this is okay
you,
before people know how to go about it and do it in life, or or act and normalize it. You know what I mean?
The reality, the sad truth on it is, we have to just fucking deal with it, bro. Your daughter in the next 10, 15 years is probably gonna see a lot of it walking into bathrooms and restrooms, especially living in New York City and going to public schools around here where it's becoming a very popular thing. Yeah, very bro. Liberal. What are you gonna do? It really is. I'm not being a jerk off.
No, I know you are. Like, I know.
It sucks. I'm not against you, but it's just, it's just fucked up to me,
because again, to me, there's no fact behind it. Like I said, the fact is you're born with a penis or you're born with a vagina. If you want to change that, that's fine. But other than those three things,
I think it's different. I think instead of having a penis or a vagina, it's a matter of being reproductive, because you could snip and change at a young age. But that's why are you able to?
Yeah, but we're really talking about where they're allowed to go to the bathroom. Like, you can do whatever you want to your body. It's not. We're not really talking about that. We're talking about like, once they do it, then what? Do I'm going to bring this to the guys' bathroom, or do they go to the girls' bathroom?
I'm going to bring this.
How are you going to feel, Frank? Hold on, wait.
Can they go into the sport of the opposing sex? Is what you asked originally, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that is fair either way, because a female is just brought up differently, and like she can be very. Like she could be a fantastic. Hold on. She could be a good gymnast or a fantastic ballerina or a cheerleader, whereas a man could be a phenomenal weightlifter. But if they're taking certain hormones, that's one thing. If you're trying to switch sexes and compete in that, knowing you have this advantage, I think it's unfair, male or female, whether it's swimming, dancing, ballet, whatever. I just feel like that, I don't know. Maybe that's how it's like this.
Bruce Jenner, perfect example, right?
That's what I was gonna say.
Perfect example. He was an Olympic gold medalist, all this stuff, like athlete, blah, blah, blah. What if he got his operation while he was still in the middle of sports? He would have fucking, think about the records that he broke as a man. No woman could touch any of the records that he did. If he changed when he changed now, he's still the same physique that he was when he was a man. He's still the same size, the same muscle tone, same whatever, right? So he would have still been able to run, throw, jump, whatever, as fast as he could when he was a man. Just because he says that he's a woman now, dude, that's, it's not fair. It's not fair.
All right. Okay.
So we got a long pause.
Yeah, that's
dead air. No, because I think we were all reading. I was reading something just now on the screen.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, we haven't even touched or dented this list, but we've already been going for like an hour.
No, but this was fun. I like this.
We got to do a part two.
Send us, ask us questions, man. We'll just sit here and talk about what you guys want to eat, you know?
Definitely. We appreciate everyone who does reach out to us. Listen, if you guys have our phone numbers, other than the people who have been reaching out to us, please reach out to us. Be like, yo, what do you guys think about this? What do you think about this?
We're on like
obviously we're not
I was just gonna say, or any of our platforms, reach out to us too. Comment, DM us, anything. Please let us know. We love doing this stuff because it's more engaging.
It's a lot more fun. I definitely want to shout out again to Jess and Will. We love you so much. Thank you for the support. It's been real. Everyone else.
Questions, Jess. Thank you.
Thank you for the likes, listens, shares, and follows.
It was like he said to everyone else and then paused before he said that. I was like, what?